The first punch was meant to humiliate him. And it would have, if Daniel Carter hadn't stepped aside so quietly that most people missed it, like a man moving out of the way of a falling leaf. Daniel was mopping the polished floor of St. Mark's Community Sports Center when the laughter started. It was early evening, the hour when tired parents waited for their kids' classes to end, and the smell of sweat and disinfectant mixed in the air. Daniel wore the same faded blue janitor uniform he wore every day, the name Daniel stitched over his chest, sleeves rolled up, wedding ring long gone but the pale mark still there. He was a single father of two, exhausted, invisible, and used to being overlooked. Across the mat stood Jason Whitmore, local martial arts star, black belt, tournament medals lining the wall behind him. Jason was everything Daniel was not: confident, loud, admired. His students circled him like gravity had chosen him as its center. "Hey," Jason called out, grinning, pointing at Daniel with his gloved hand. "You ever spar, old man?" The room chuckled. Daniel didn't look up right away. He finished pushing the mop to the corner, wrung it out slowly, and said, calm and polite, "No, sir, just here to clean." That should have been the end of it. But Jason stepped closer. "Come on," he said, "just for fun. 5 seconds, you dodge, I swing, harmless." His voice carried the edge of a dare, the kind that feeds on an audience. Parents looked uncomfortable. Kids leaned forward. The center's manager, Michael Reynolds, hesitated from his office doorway but said nothing. Daniel felt the familiar heat of embarrassment crawl up his neck. He had felt it at parent-teacher meetings, at job interviews, at hospital billing counters after his wife Sarah died. Life had taught him how to swallow it. "I really shouldn't," Daniel said quietly. Jason laughed, afraid. That word landed differently, not because it hurt his pride, but because it reminded him of his son, Caleb, who was watching from the bench with wide eyes. Caleb had been bullied recently. Daniel had told him, "Walk away when you can. Stand firm when you must." Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. 5 seconds, he said, "no more." The room went still. Jason clapped, excited. "See, this'll be fun." They stepped onto the mat. Jason bounced on his feet, loose and flashy. Daniel stood still, shoulders relaxed, hands open at his sides. He looked almost tired, like a man who had already lived through worse storms than this. "Go easy," someone whispered. Jason didn't. He lunged. What happened next didn't look dramatic at first. There was no flying kick, no explosion of movement. Daniel simply shifted, his foot sliding, his body turning just enough. Jason's punch cut through empty air. Momentum betrayed him. Before Jason could reset, Daniel gently redirected his arm and tapped his shoulder. Once. Twice. Jason stumbled back, confused. Laughter died. Jason attacked again, faster now, ego bruised. A combination this time, sharp, practiced. Daniel moved like water poured around stone. He blocked without striking, stepped inside Jason's range, and in one smooth motion guided him to the mat. Not slammed. Guided. Jason hit the floor with a stunned thud. Silence swallowed the room. Daniel stepped back immediately and offered a hand. "Time up." Jason didn't take it. He stared at the ceiling, breathing hard, eyes wide, not with pain but disbelief. Michael Reynolds finally rushed forward. "Daniel, where did you learn that?" Daniel helped Jason up anyway. His voice was steady, almost apologetic. "A long time ago, another life." The crowd slowly exhaled. Parents whispered. Students stared at Daniel as if seeing him for the first time. Later in Michael's office, Daniel explained. Years before illness and hospital rooms and overnight shifts, he had served in the military. Hand-to-hand training, discipline, restraint. He had promised Sarah he'd leave that life behind to be present, to be gentle. When she died, that promise became sacred. "I don't fight anymore," Daniel said. "I clean floors and raise my kids, that's enough." Michael nodded, shaken. Jason crossed a line. Jason stood in the doorway, no longer smiling. He bowed his head, not formally but sincerely. "I'm sorry," he said. "I thought strength was about showing off." Daniel smiled faintly. Strength is knowing when not to. That night, Caleb ran up to his father and hugged him hard. "You didn't hurt him," he said. Daniel knelt to his son's level. Because hurting someone to prove something means you've already lost. The next week, something changed. Daniel was still the janitor, but now people greeted him. Jason asked him questions. Michael offered him a part-time assistant instructor role, focused on discipline and self-control. Daniel hesitated, then accepted, not for the recognition, but for the kids who needed to learn what real strength looked like. On the wall of the gym, beneath the medals and trophies, a new sign appeared. "True power is quiet." And every night, as Daniel locked up the center and turned off the lights, he thought of Sarah, of promises kept, of the strange way life sometimes tests you, not to shame you, but to reveal who you've been all along. The black belt had asked for fun. What he received was a lesson no trophy could ever teach. And the room was left speechless, not by violence but by grace.